Imagine holding a single flower bulb in your hand. Now imagine that bulb is worth more than a luxury mansion in the heart of Amsterdam, more than 10 years of an average worker's salary, more than your entire life savings. This actually happened. And what came next destroyed thousands of lives in a matter of days. Welcome to 1637. Welcome to the greatest fraud in financial history. Welcome to the Tulip Mania. But here's what they didn't tell you. This wasn't just about flowers. This was about a lie so perfectly crafted that an entire nation fell for it. And the terrifying part, we're falling for the exact same trap today. Let me show you how. The Netherlands, early 1600s, a nation built on trade, wealth, and ambition. The Dutch East India Company was printing money, merchants were getting rich, and everyone wanted to show it. But gold was common, paintings were everywhere. They needed something rare, something exotic, something that screamed power. Enter the tulip. These weren't ordinary flowers. They came from the Ottoman Empire, carried across dangerous trade routes, surviving storms and bandits. Owning one meant you had connections. It meant you were elite. It meant you mattered. But stop for a second and look closer. The most valuable tulips weren't the normal ones. They were the broken ones. Striped petals, flames of color, patterns that seemed almost supernatural. People called them the most beautiful flowers on earth. Collectors went insane for them. Nobles paid fortunes. And nobody knew why these patterns appeared. Here's the invisible detail that changed everything. It was a virus, a disease called the mosaic virus. It infected the bulbs and created those mesmerizing patterns. The flowers weren't rare because of selective breeding or skill. They were sick. And that sickness made them priceless. Think about that. An entire economy built on infected flowers, and then the madness began. At first, only the wealthy played the game. A rare bulb might cost what a skilled craftsman earned in a year. Expensive, yes, but still logical, still tied to reality. But then something shifted. Someone realized you didn't need the actual flower to make money. You just needed the promise of it. They invented the future contract. Here's how the trap worked. A tulip bulb stays in the ground for months. You plant it, you wait, you harvest. But what if you could sell it before it even bloomed? What if you could sell the same bulb 10 times over based on nothing but a piece of paper and a handshake? That's exactly what they did. Taverns became trading floors. Blacksmiths became speculators. Weavers became investors. People who had never seen a tulip in their life were buying and selling contracts like lottery tickets. And the prices went vertical. A single Semper Augustus bulb, the most coveted variety, sold for 6,000 guilders. Let me put that in perspective. That's equivalent to over $300,000 today. For one bulb, that might not even survive the winter. People sold their homes, their businesses, their land. Farmers mortgaged their fields. Craftsmen pawned their tools, all to buy a contract for a flower they would never hold. It was all a trap, because nobody was buying tulips anymore. They were buying the belief that someone else would pay more tomorrow. The actual flower didn't matter. The promise did, and promises are cheap. By early 1637, the entire Dutch economy was infected, not by the mosaic virus, by something worse: greed, delusion, the unshakable belief that prices only go up. And then came February 3rd, 1637, Haarlem, a routine tulip auction. The auctioneer presented the bulbs. He called for bids, and then silence. Nobody raised their hand. Nobody offered a price. For the first time in years, there were no buyers. The room froze. Someone asked if this was a joke. It wasn't. The auctioneer tried again. Still nothing. Word spread through the tavern, then through the city, then across the country. The illusion shattered in a single afternoon. By the next morning, contracts worth thousands were worthless. People who were millionaires on paper woke up bankrupt. Families lost everything. Suicides followed. Courts were flooded with lawsuits. The government had no idea how to respond, and here's the cruelest part. The people holding actual tulip bulbs, the real flowers, they survived. The scam was never about tulips. It was about paper promises, about speculation, about a market built on nothing but belief. The ones who got destroyed were the ones who believed the lie. Now let me ask you something. Does any of this sound familiar? Cryptocurrencies that have no physical form but sell for thousands. NFTs of digital images worth millions one day and pennies the next. Meme stocks driven not by value but by hype. Companies valued in the billions before they make a single profitable product. We call it innovation. We call it the future. We call it opportunity. They called tulips the same thing. The pattern never changes. The technology changes. The asset changes. But human psychology, that stays exactly the same. Fear of missing out. The belief that this time is different. The idea that you can get rich without creating real value. It's the same fraud. Just wearing a new mask in 1637, people couldn't believe that a flower could be worthless. In 2026, people can't believe that a digital token could be worthless. But worthlessness doesn't announce itself. It hides behind belief until the belief runs out. And when it does, the collapse is always silent. No warnings, no alarms, just an auction where nobody bids. Here's the final piece they don't want you to understand. Every bubble in history has ended the same way. Not with a crash, not with panic, but with silence. With the moment everyone realizes that the only reason something had value was because everyone else believed it did. And once that belief is gone, no amount of explanation, no amount of hope, no amount of holding on will bring it back. The tulip bulbs didn't lose value because they were bad flowers. They lost value because the story ended. So ask yourself, what are you holding today that only has value because of a story? If you made it this far, you saw the hidden lie. Comment tulip below if you understand what this really means. And remember, the greatest frauds don't look like frauds until it's too late. The flowers were never the problem. The belief was.